I'm not much 23,
And I'm ChoasAssassin.
and this is Gamersperience, a podcast about the gaming experience mainly through ours. Yeah, this is the last episode of our second season.
God, time flies. It doesn't feel like we've actually done an entire, 12 episodes? Because we do one a month,
Yeah,
roughly?
12 episodes plus the 10 from the last season, which is admittedly a short one, so that's.
Oh, we started, in February, March?
Yeah,
Still find it hilarious, the fact that we've been doing this for, when this gets released, almost 2 years.
yeah.
And we just recently hit 600 downloads, which is insane.
Last I checked, it was 611, but who's counting?
So we are, because we're still like really, really small, and we'd like to get bigger.
Yeah,
That I believe that's our goal for the next season, is try to get some more listeners. Maybe not go off on so many tangents. Have more reoccurring guests. I would hope.
but the
Although
tangents are kind of a part of the show, especially at this point.
yeah, but from what I've read on our Discord, it doesn't seem like people like some of my tangents.
Mm, so, what do we want to do going into the third season?
Well, I'd like to actually get my setup actually more official. Last episode was my first time using a new mic. This the second episode. You just recently got a new mic.
Yes, I did.
Hopefully, it sounds crisper to our listeners. I'm not sure.
Well, I sure hope
Um,
so.
I definitely like to try and get more episodes out.
More than once
Like
a
like
month?
yeah, maybe two a month. The issue is comes down to scheduling between you and I, mainly more so me finding the time.
Yeah, because
Um,
you just told me that you're usually pretty tired after work and you only
yeah,
have 2 days off a week.
and most of the time, the my first day off is I'm running all the errands that I can't do after work because I'm that tired. Which is
Yeah,
funny because I'm typically getting off around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm starting at like 5 a.m. So
yeah.
it's not fun.
Well, we did release our first bonus episode.
Yeah, and I'd like to do a little bit more of that. I'd like to do a few more things as far as more reoccurring. Like we have our character stories, which I like that we have them, but at the same time, I would like to maybe not do as many, because I believe this past year we've done four of them,
Yeah,
which I understand, we have a lot of stories, but I only have so many because I'm so busy with work. I can't play to make more,
yeah,
which makes me sad.
yeah, I know, but I think I know something that'll probably replace it. Well, not completely, but another recurring series to stand in.
So instead of doing four like we did this past year, maybe do three.
Or maybe like one or two.
Well, if we're trying to double our episodes, I think we might be able to fit that in, but I would like another more reoccurring. I think that might help.
And I have an idea for one.
What do you got?
Gaming pet peeves.
Ooh.
Just shit that pisses you off about gaming.
Okay. The issue I can see with that is there's only so many pet peeves. So are we going to do it by generation?
Probably, I don't know. We could do
So,
that.
so something like so my pet peeves with the N64 generation of games kind of thing, or the PlayStation or the PlayStation 4s, just go based kind of like on the consoles that of the time.
Yeah, we can have themed episodes, or we can just have guests that come in, more like a what grinds my gears about gaming sort of thing.
All right, Peter Griffin.
You know what grinds my gears?
Oh, now you're Italian now, hey?
That was my pathetic attempt at a Peter Griffin voice. Not nearly as good as my Hank Hill.
You mean the one who sells propane and propane accessories?
Yes, and with propane, you taste the meat, not the heat.
That's something I think we might need to do a little bit more on, is do more of like some of the things that incorporate into gaming as well. like the voice actors. I don't think we've ever actually talked about some of the different voice actors and how their voices are now iconic to things. I think that's something we should do on a later episode.
Of course, I'd also like to get a voice actor, at least halfway famous one, but I don't think any of them would touch a podcast this small with a 20-foot pole.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Maybe one day when we're big, maybe we can get like Matt Mercer on the podcast. That would be entertaining.
Yeah. Hear him go off about like his gaming pet peeves, what grinds his gears.
Ooh, that would be an entertaining episode. Hear what Matt Mercer doesn't like about video games.
Or TTRPGs, just or gaming in general.
I'd like to get some of the guests that we haven't had recurring, because I believe all we've had is Goodwill Gaming and Gorilla
Backseat,
Studios.
yeah, Backseat Gorilla and Les from Lawful Goodwill, and the
I
rest
think
of
those are the
the
only two reoccurring.
yeah so far.
I think maybe we should look into trying to get what was the one group they build they talk about like environmental stuff. Forget what they were. We had one of them join us, but the scheduling issue was really huge because I believe they were in China, weren't they?
Oh, from the encounter table.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Ryan lives in Beijing.
yeah. I'd love to get him back on the podcast if he's up for it, or maybe have us join them at some point.
Yeah, I think they've paused for an indefinite amount of time, but I mean, if we could arrange it again, I'd like to get Ryan back on.
I'm still jealous about his mic setup. It sounded so nice.
Yeah, but we have like a very tiny budget, which is an improvement from like last year where we had basically no budget.
Yeah, I was using my Skull Candy earbuds for mic and everything, and now I actually have a proper mic. But when I swapped over, I had, a headset I got for Christmas, and I mean it was all right, but I think this mic is going to do a lot better.
I hope my bike is going to do a lot better, especially now that it's on an arm and with a shock mount.
I think something that we should do is maybe actually start. We say we're streamers and gamers. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I streamed. And I believe you still can't stream due to internet restrictions, correct?
Yeah, though we may look into a local cable company to get cable internet, maybe get more upload speed because CenturyLink fucking sucks.
Careful, they might try to sponsor us one day.
If they
Wait, we
do,
would
I
have a
will
sponsor?
turn them down.
Like Raid Shadow Legends? That's
If,
another one that we could do with the pet peeves. Pet peeves with
if you want to
like
experience everything
sponsors.
wrong with mobile gaming, play Raid Shadow Legends.
Watch, they're gonna do a cease and desist. Oh wait, we're not big enough for that.
Oh, and we're criticizing them, so it's fair use.
Is it really?
Yeah. Criticism or parody against a company is part of fair use in the United States Copyright Act.
Did not know that.
So, yeah, if we point out everything wrong with Raid Shadow Legends, that's criticism. That's covered under fair use.
Haha, legal loopholes.
And I'm sure there's plenty to criticize there.
We can't exactly criticize something we've never played. Now can we?
No, and I'm not willing to touch that shit with even a pole longer than
I know.
the
I'll ask some of my friends because I know some of my friends have played it.
yeah. And maybe get some of your friends on here, talk
I
about
could.
their gaming pet peeves. I know Lord Greyhawk has a lot.
Oh
Nyx has a
God,
lot.
yeah. I've got a few friends. I'd like to get in the little cave to join us, but I don't know if he would ever actually have the time because I don't know anymore. I hardly ever see them online. I'd like to get some of my other friends, like my friend Torin. I think he would be interesting to have on. We'd have to do an early morning stream as he is in the UK.
Yeah.
I think he could I could have we could have some fun with that. I'd like to get one of my other friends on Gato or something like that, I believe is his name. I don't know. I'd like to get him on. Would love to get Preston back on.
Yeah.
See what some of his pet peeves would be interesting. Although I have a feeling I might be part of them. Uh, One of my pet peeves is power gamers who break certain things like perception. I don't know what you're talking about. I think that I think getting some of our reoccurring guests to come back.
Also, been talking about maybe getting a more
I
proper
think
intro.
yeah, yeah, we could look into that. We are broke though, so
We'd have to do it ourselves.
yeah, which we might be able to do that at some point. I like our intro, but I think we need a little more formal one.
Yeah, like I think one I came up with something like I think I wrote it down between us, but I need to like think of it and write it down again. It was like a more like a Law and Order type of intro, only with gaming.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that. We were tossing up between like a Law and Order kind of one or a Twilight Zone one. I think were the two that we were
I
looking
mean,
into.
we could use both and just alternate them.
Something else I've noticed that I think we need to do a little bit more of is while we're talking and actually recording, actually have a section where we kind of introduce the mid roll more so than just cut off in mid conversation. Because I've noticed that by listening to some of our previous episodes, that sometimes the mid roll cuts like right in the middle of a conversation instead of like a bridge between two different convos.
Yeah, I've been trying to get it into the middle of an episode, but with the way you talk, just about any point I choose is going to be in the middle of a conversation.
You know, that's fair. That's something else I should probably work on is letting you talk and letting some of our guests talk a little bit more.
Because I know, I mean, when we have a guest, I'm usually almost like dead silent.
Yeah. Although there was that one episode where you had to take over because I had something come up in the middle of our recording, so I had to leave.
Yeah, I think that's the second one with Les.
Yeah.
And then again during the bonus episode, but Lord Greyhawk talked enough for both of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. I think I'd like to get more items of the month from less. Because some of those items are like really entertaining.
But I noticed
But
that,
sadly, I don't have TikTok.
but also, yeah, they end up being the same ones for TikTok. I mean, I've just been
Yeah.
forgetting, honestly.
Yeah.
And I did find the script that I wrote between our conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the world of gaming, the players have two separate but equally desirable experiences. One is through computational devices, taking input through buttons, joysticks, and mice, and is displayed on a screen. The other is on paper and cardboard, with dice, plastic pieces, and pencils on a table. We represent both. I'm not much 23.
I heard like half of that. I don't know if it was something on my end or your end or what, but it sounded like you went Terminator.
Okay, well then, popped up my gain a little. Let me try again. In the world of gaming, the players have two separate but equally desirable experiences. One is through computational devices taking input through buttons, joysticks, and mice and is displayed on a screen. The other is on paper and cardboard, with dice, plastic pieces, and pencils on a table. We represent both. I'm not much 23.
I think that could be interesting.
And of course, you can go equally sort of flat, like, and I'm ChoasAssassin. And this is Gamersperience. Too bad we couldn't do the whole double thing because I'm pretty sure that is very heavily copyrighted.
What the dun dun?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think you. I know there are some sounds that could be copyrighted, but I don't think that's one of them.
I wouldn't risk it though.
That's fair. However, can you really claim a copyright if we make a sound? Like if we were to take a wooden spoon to a pot and record the dun dun, can they really claim copyright on that?
If it's close enough to theirs, they probably could. But again,
I might do like a intellectual property. We stole their idea.
yeah.
Although to be fair, then that entire intro could be taken because well, we're doing that as like a reference.
Yeah,
And
but
granted, Twilight Zone would be the same thing.
yeah, but in that case it's different enough from like the exact script that we
I
probably gonna
think
get
it's
away with it.
fair.
But the thing is that neither of us have any money for attorneys.
No, we don't.
So we gotta be careful with that shit.
Well, we only really have to be careful if we become big and famous. But I don't see that happening. I really don't.
I mean, I'd like to have at least a small, dedicated listener base.
That would be nice.
I mean, ideally, I'd like to actually I'd actually like to get maybe some income so we can put back and reinvest into the podcast is try to make it a little better.
Yeah. Well, we already agreed that if we ever actually made money from this, that we would end up taking any money we got from this and actually putting it back into the podcast.
Yes, like better microphones, maybe
Yeah.
to help paying for a booth at conventions, which I still very much want to do.
Yeah.
But where we're at right now, if we did run ads, we'd be potentially alienating listeners for an almost non-existent amount of money.
Oh, that's fair.
I mean, yeah, those you listening, would you mind ads? Because I mean, on Spreaker, I could probably put in like ads that they would pick out. I don't think we'd really have much control over them, though.
I'd like to at least have some control over the ads because they're. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna have things that we don't actually like want.
Yes. I mean, if we do ads, number one, I'd want it to be us reading it. Number two, I'm going to vet every single company. And if I think they're cool, I'm going to tell you about it so then you can on your own vet the company.
Yeah, because we both have some fairly high
Very
quotas, I
strong.
guess. Yeah.
We have high moral standards, at least for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, I would never accept any money for an ad read from Raid Shadow Legends.
Neither of us like it. Granted, that's something I don't think we've ever actually talked about is why do we both hate Raid Shadow Legends?
Well, one thing for me, I've actually heard some stuff about it. It's made by a company that also makes programs and stuff for slot machines. So they've inserted a lot of gambling mechanics and also has a lot of the things that are inherently bad about mobile gaming, especially free to play, like time limits.
That's fair.
Of course, I'd have to look more into it. And anything from any mobile game developer, I would look into hardcore.
Yeah. So, if we are in fact going to look for maybe a sponsor at some point, what would be the best choices, I guess, for it?
I'd be thinking like companies that make stuff that we enjoy and we use already,
I think that would be good.
or especially like smaller companies that make things that we most likely would enjoy, like Paizo. I would be
If
ecstatic to have Paizo as a sponsor.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll agree to that. Paizo would be one that I would I definitely take a thing with Paizo.
Or like Cobalt Press. Oh,
Um
I'm less familiar with Cobalt Press.
oh, I know. I know. We should totally get one from Bethesda. With how often I've ripped on Bethesda?
Yeah, they'll definitely agree
Yeah, we'd have to
to a
get famous for
restraining order.
that. No, it'd be a cease and desist. Let's be completely honest. It would be straight up based off of the fact of I just fucking spaced it. Wow. But yeah, no, it'd be a cease and desist. Like, stop talking about us. How dare you? Although, can the company actually do that if we're doing things like that?
What, making fun of them?
Yeah,
Ripping on them? Being critical? Not
yeah.
really, because that, again, falls under fair use.
Interesting.
Like, or somebody like Chepeku, or like Chepeku Sci-Fi. I would definitely consider sponsorship from them if they would consider sponsoring us, which again, we're too small, probably not. This
Ah, that's
is,
fair.
yeah, this is sort of a dream of the future, like having booths at conventions.
That's fair.
But one thing I do want to do if I can ever get the means to do so, is not just start making resin dice, but I want to send a Gamersperience branded die set to every single one of our guests, made from resin.
That would be actually kind of cool to do.
Yeah. Like, thank you for being on our podcast. Of course, I asked them ahead of time what kind of colors or patterns they would like in a die.
Yeah.
Because I hope to be getting a resin 3D printer for Christmas.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, so I could make my own masters after I learn finally how to use Blender, which I would also use to make us a new logo.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, of course, I tried before with my old desktop, but when I tried to do something, it completely froze.
Ooh,
But that was on my old quad core system. Now I have a Ryzen 9 7950X 16 core 32 thread processor and an RTX 4070, 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, so that shouldn't happen again.
that all went way over my head.
My new desktop's a beast, that's all you need to know.
Okay. I'm glad somebody understands it at least.
Maybe one of our listeners be like, why didn't you go for the 7950X3D?
Yeah, see, I still don't understand that. You know, it's funny. I call myself a gamer, and I play on PC and everything, but I'm not very tech savvy. I'm really not.
I mean, you don't really have to be for the most part as long as your computer runs what you want.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to get my Skyrim back up and running, but I don't know where I went wrong with my mods. I really don't. I don't know why it stopped working. There was some things that needed updated. I tried to get them updated and then it just stopped working.
Did your Google foo fail you?
In order to use Google Foo, I need to know what the hell I'm trying to research. I have a bunch of error codes and I need to go through and figure out what's going wrong with them. I've got all sorts of mods that aren't compatible with each other, which sucks because I re-download an entire mod pack, but the issue is some of them have been updated, some haven't, and some of the ones that are updated aren't compatible with what's needed for them that haven't been updated. So I have to sit there and just trial and error everything, and
A
it's a
good
lot.
a good place to start is when you get those error codes, write them down, put them into Google.
Yep. And six of them are the same type of error code. It's all one mod. The issue is I've tried four different versions of the mod. They're conflicting with other mods. It just won't tell me what mods they're conflicting with.
Of
And
course
that's my
not.
biggest issue.
That would be too easy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But when you have, I'm waiting for it to because I'm curious. Like, how many mods do I have to actually go through? I
I'm
just wish that there was like any of my friends, because some of my friends who use mods, they refuse to help me with it. Just like how dare you not help me with my issues? And yeah, I help them with theirs. It's like, well, how dare y'all? I help y'all. Just because mine's actually going to take effort doesn't mean you can't not help me. I think that's part of it. Is they just don't want to have to go through the effort, because I think anybody who uses mods knows, okay, this is going to be a pain in the ass.
yeah. And it's probably not as easy as City Skylines where you can just turn them on and off at will, and then that way find the bad mod and uninstall it.
Yeah. Although I'm looking at some of like my background, and one of my apps is not on there anymore, which makes me a little curious.
Hmm. There are times I'm glad I
I'm
don't use
thinking,
Windows. What were you thinking?
um, oh, Vortex apparently wants to be restarted, so I'm gonna re or update Vortex. Yeah, yeah, Vortex. Brain's just not wanting to compute. I'm tired.
Okay, so we've kind of went over what we want to do for next season, maybe a little further. What are your
Yeah.
dreams for the future of Gamersperience?
Have listeners that actually send us emails and reply to us on X, formerly known as Twitter. I want our listeners to actually maybe interact with us a little bit more, so it doesn't feel like we're sitting here and just talking with each other. I mean, yeah, we have 600 downloads, but I'd like a little bit more interaction. I think that's one of my biggest things, that especially for this next year, I would love, some actual interaction, get actual emails, some critiquing. Hey, some of the questions I've asked, like answers to things. Even if it's just one or two, I'd be happy with that. But I think out of the past 2 years, we've only gotten one character story,
Mm, yeah.
which if you're still listening, I forget the name, person who sent us the story, I am planning on using part of your story in my campaign. I love the idea that was in it. I plan on using that because I just love that idea. And I'm letting you know now. I'm actually probably going to name the cave or cavern after you, if that's okay. I would like your permission at least to name the cavern in my game after you.
Yeah.
If you could reply saying yeah, that's okay, great. If not, I'll try not to use your name. But I love the idea. I really do.
Yeah, I'd also love for our listeners to interact with us by emailing us at gamersperience@gmail.com, all lowercase, spelled the same as the podcast. Should I spell it out again?
No, because pretty sure if they're listening to us, they probably have us. I would hope so, at least. I'd
Yeah.
also like because not only do we have the podcast here and are on multiple different platforms, we
Yeah.
also do have a Discord channel which is linked on X. It's
Yeah.
linked on, I believe, our YouTube as well.
Mm, I think well, I'd probably have to make another permalink, but I can put that on the description of all of our YouTube
Yeah.
videos.
I,
Oh,
I think maybe doing some more things on the YouTube might help us.
and well, the thing is that the kind of content that like TikTok and YouTube viewers like and podcast listeners like to listen to are different.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, most of the podcasts I listen to are YouTube videos as well.
And I'm putting the episodes on YouTube up. I'm purposefully staying an episode behind to try to steer people towards the audio podcast section.
Yeah. It'd be
But
funny if we got a thing for YouTube asking, to sponsor something.
yeah, I highly doubt that.
I
But
know, right?
but one thing I am going to do is I am going to put all the episodes that I had to delete because we had a space limit on Spreaker back on, because now they have unlimited episodes with only one podcast, but we only have this.
Hey, that's still pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see some quote unquote new episodes coming back that have like re-upload in parentheses, just know it's an old episode that I'm bringing back on.
I think maybe taking, because I know we're on Spotify. I actually found us on Spotify.
Yeah.
I think maybe putting the link to Spotify or Spreaker or something within like X for having a thing where it shows everything we're on. I think that might help.
I use a pod link
Does the
because
pod link actually send people to where it shows everything we're on and everything?
yeah, it has links to like all sorts of different platforms.
Okay. I think I might try to get one and maybe post it in one or two of the discords I'm in.
Yeah.
Might
In,
ask some of our friends for help with that too.
in fact, we have cards. I designed and made us business cards. They have a QR code to that Podlink page.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so if you want to get that to put links on places, all you have to do is take one of your cards and scan that QR code.
That'd be kind of cool. I might ask some of the shops around us to if they don't mind having some of our
Oh, some of our cards out?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm friends with a couple of the card owner or shop owners, so I might be able to get something. I don't know yet.
Yeah. And of course, those of you listening, go ahead, tell us how you discovered Gamersperience. Is
And
it
if you have any friends that might like it, let them know.
Blaze?
I really am tired because holy shit, I'm not even on a tangent or anything, really.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in myself.
Yeah, well, these season closers tend to be a little shorter, anyways, so.
Yeah, but this also lets people know kind of what we've done the past year, what we plan on doing for the future. A proper intro is definitely one we are definitely going to have to get in at some point.
Yes.
I
Well,
think maybe some research might help with that.
yeah.
And for those of us listening, if y'all have any ideas or things y'all think we would enjoy and like us to do, let us know. Send us an email at gamersperience@gmail.com or join us on Discord. Let us know. We have a couple of things. We even have a section for you to put your own character stories. just let us know some things.
And a place for podcast feedback and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'll do it. I'm Not
All
Much
right.
23.
And I'm Chaos Assassin.
And this is Gamersperience.
Closing out the second year, second season.
Yeah. As always, invite you to have your own Gamersperience.